Welcome to Life by the Numbers with celebrity numerologist Michelle Arbeau. Broadcast on KX at 1 Laguna, exploring topics of spiritual growth, current affairs, celebrity news, and more through the lens of numbers. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you for listening to Life by the Numbers with celebrity numerologist Michelle Arbeau on KX at 1 Laguna. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific for all things numbers and so much more. We're out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
John wants to know about a 9.
Aren't you the 27-9? Yeah, so Gandhi and Mother Teresa, and that's why he's such a sweetheart, right?
Look at you,
It's a
John.
terrible company to
Blush,
be in.
blush. Look, he's all blushing.
Wow. John the engineer is
Oh,
Gandhi
that's
and
an
Mother
endorsement.
Teresa.
Okay, so what is that about? What is the...
So 9 is the humanitarian
Mhm.
and very selfless, very giving.
Completely.
Obviously with Gandhi and Mother Teresa. But
come on.
the 27-9,
Sweet.
but it's interesting with the 27-9 because they take a while to come into their own. If you think about Gandhi and Mother Teresa's life path, it's like they were late in the game, finally blossoming, right? And it's because they have this beautiful 7 in the weaker position. So they've got the 2, which is all about support, which is what you've got going on with your life path. But the weaker position energy, the 7, is all about trust. But when it's the challenge, it's all about finding that sense of inner self-trust, and before you can actually trust other people, you need that inner sense of self-trust. So they're always looking without for a very long time for the answers and what should I do, and the next guru and the next book and the next thing. And until they finally realize that the truth has always been within, then they don't fully blossom. So that's really the struggle for the 27-9 until they really find their...
So this must be really gratifying for people when they come in and they see, oh, okay, I am a late bloomer, according to this chart. But
Yes.
have you ever had somebody come in and, boy, their numbers don't add up to what they're supposed to be doing in life in terms of a career or perhaps a relationship? What do you do then?
You know what? Knock on wood, but I've never had anyone not resonate with their numbers ever. And like I say, this is going on almost 13 years, and I wish I could say like I'm perfect,
Go ahead and say
totally
it.
perfect. But it's the science of numbers. It really is. It's like I'm just the message
So nobody
bearer.
gets nobody gets off track.
You
then.
have no idea how accurate this is. It's
Well-
like blows every other metaphysical art, so to speak, out of the water.
So
Yeah.
I want to ask you two things. So can somebody in your position, like a numerologist, misinterpret numbers? Because it would seem like there would be
Yes.
quite a
Mm-hmm.
you know,
I've found
continuum
that.
of-
totally. And I think it's because it's my thing and it's my passion and my purpose that makes the difference. Because I've ran into other numerologists before and they just don't have the same interpretation of the numbers that I do. And I'm not tooting my horn at all. I'm just saying that when you hit your path and your purpose, I think that it just, your light shines through it too. So it's like the clarity is even more clear. And I think I see the numbers so much more clearly than, say, if you picked up a numerology book and started to study it kind of thing. Because it's not your thing.
It sounds like that because of your passion with it, you can be maybe, I think you just said clear, and so
Yes.
your own stuff, because, we see the world through our own
Exactly.
filter, and through our own filter
Right.
has everything to do with our experiences and that kind of stuff. So I could see how someone would maybe put their spin on it, not consciously,
Yes.
but put their own spin
yeah.
on each thing.
You got it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's what it is. And I've kind of analyzed it myself, but I'm not a psychologist, but I just feel like it's my passion and I light up and I see them almost as entities to me. It's like, oh, you're a 3. And it just, I dive into the 3 because that's who I am, and I'm so passionate about it.
That is so interesting. Now, what about for people who might say, well, the characteristics can be so general that it would fit many people?
Like your daily horoscope, say, that fits
The thing is,
million people.
Totally, I get what you're saying, but you know what? There could be a million 8s in the room, for example, and they could all be vastly different, depending on maybe the individual digits in their date of birth or the fact that they've used the energy in a different way. 8s are knowledge bearers. Okay, how do you want to do that? What do you want to share? What do you want to,
So, right.
what knowledge do you want to share? So you could be a psychologist, you could be who knows, any number of things in terms of being a knowledge bearer. So it just depends.
Right, and going back to what we were speaking about earlier in the show, where you can focus on the great attributes or you can focus on the negative, right?
Right.
You have a choice.
Yeah, totally. And there is a positive and a negative side to every number. And, there are the negative Nellies and the Debbie Downers who will take their number and, oh, woe is me and this and that.
So what would be the negative side of 8?
Well, 8's, definitely the relationship thing, but also 8's, if you think about John and Kate plus 8, she's like, me,
Do we
look
have
at me.
to? Do we have to?
That kind of thing.
And you said she was an 8, yeah.
She was an 8, and they can be very much detached people. They really guard their independence at all costs, and I think that's another reason why they're very much the relationship challenge victims, so to speak, because they subconsciously it's like, oh, this is getting too intense, and they really kind of put people at arm's length.
Really? Because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a mystery. It's a mystery to us. It's a
And
mystery.
for you, it compounds because with that missing soul plane
the
energy.
news gets better, Dr. Shirley.
Well,
news gets better.
The thing is, though, the beauty in it is that they say the more challenging your chart, the more evolved the soul. So.
Do you guys hear that, Steve?
I'm sorry, I'm not
you hear that?
getting. I'm not getting sound through my headphones.
But wait, but you were going to say that the challenge, because this is fascinating, because it's so unbelievably accurate, and I view it in psychology from an attachment perspective. And I'm
Yes.
avoiding attachment. So
No.
the avoidance
You know
of,
what? With the lack of soul plan energy, they box up their heart. I even profiled someone in Canada who was an electoral candidate for the Alberta election.
Mayor
and
of Toronto.
They were the
perhaps?
media was always waiting. Well, yeah, I haven't done his numbers. I should actually.
I think we got
that'd
his
be
number.
interesting.
But
Okay.
she was missing all the soul plan numbers, and the media was always like waiting. Oh, what's she going to say next? Because she was really socially and emotionally dysfunctional because she had boxed up her heart because she didn't have any soul plane energy. So, in order to interact, we need that intuition, right? Totally need that intact. Otherwise, we're like saying the wrong thing at the wrong time, totally off our
Right,
game in
right.
terms of social interaction. So she was all over the board, and it was because she had this all boxed up. And how does that translate into relationships? Not very well, because
That's what I was going to ask you. If you're
you're
an
keeping people here. You can't read them. They feel like you're keeping them there, like just totally distant and not. It's like, where are you, kind of
Right,
thing.
right.
And you're an 8, so right off the bat, anyway, you're always guarding your independence. So
But-
you've got double whammies going on.
But
there.
is there a number that's
Yeah.
better for an 8 than not, in terms of a relationship, a compatibility?
Well, yeah, definitely. 8s, I always tell 8s, you need someone who's going to understand the fact that you need to have that independent space. You want someone who's not going to be a codependent person. Some people like that, and it's great. They love that, to be needed and to be wanted.
Yeah,
but
that's not.
for you need
No.
someone who's going to
I think we all need
understand
that
that you need
number.
that space.
And so what numbers are like that? I mean,
Five.
She's writing these down.
Definitely a
Okay,
5.
five.
5
When's
would be
your birthday?
Let's do the math. Here's
definitely.
my abacus.
Top recommendation is a 5 and then a 7, because those are the most. 7, for example, a lot of churches just coincidentally are built at a 7 address more so than any other
how
address.
interesting.
Yeah, because 7 is the number of. Well, it's the deep philosophical number of truth. So it's very self-reflective.
Very holy, right?
It wants to be alone. It wants to contemplate. It wants to have that space. And any 7 I've ever met always has those traits. It's like, yeah, I need my alone time. So they would really get the fact that, okay, I need my space right now. Just leave me be. I need to deal with it, kind of thing. And it's like you kind of go through these moments where you're like, you can be kind of codependent and then independent, like back and forth.
Right.
So, you need someone who's going to understand that. So the 5s and 7s would totally get that, because 5 is the number of freedom of expression. It's very erratic. It wants to sometimes be free as well. So those two energies for an 8 would work best. Also, another 8 might work best too, but that would be the third option.
And so do you do this a lot when people meet someone, they come to you and they say, he or she's a 5. What, is that going to be a good combination or?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
bet.
the thing is, it's, people come, yeah, I'm having a hard time in my job or this or that, but it always comes back to relationships. And it as being a psychologist,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
relationships are like the thing, right? So it always ends up with that. So I feel like I'm almost like an unofficial counselor.
Right.
because,
Right.
but if you think, human interaction, relationships are pivotal, right?
Have you done the
Yeah,
Clooney's?
But the Clooney's, yeah. But it's so fascinating because it can really depersonalize, and I think that's so important, because so many times, even in my work, people take personally what doesn't belong to them. So like if someone who was an 8 came to you and someone who has a codependent number would come to you and they're not getting along or something, explaining this would be like, oh, it's not that she's rejecting me. It's that she just needs her alone time. Okay.
Understanding.
That could completely change somebody's life.
Yes. And I use the example of the classic nagging wife and the tuned out husband. Yes, dear. And if you think about it, she's the nagger because she is very mental based, very analytical, and he's very physical based. So he doesn't get the overthinking, and she doesn't get that he's able to just kind of go with the flow and tune things out and not worry about things.
Right.
So knowing that, okay, she's got all this mental energy up here, and he's got all this physical stuff. So he's not being mean and ignoring me, and she's not nagging. She's just in her overthinking mode. So maybe I'll take her, let's go out for a walk. Let's, suggest something. So it's just totally busts the door wide open in terms of understanding each other.
Yeah.
And that's like 99% of the challenge right there. It's not to say that you're not compatible or this or that. It's understanding. And I think that that's the main thing with relationships and numerology for me. It's like, I don't consider you not compatible with somebody at all. I think anything could really work. It's the understanding.
Absolutely.
So it's like taking you from here and here and speaking the same language.
So it could work or work better.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Depending on your
totally.
understanding.
Or at least understanding the other person's language. And again, not taking it personally. I
Right.
mean, it changes so drastically when I don't take personally what you're doing, because you're not doing it to me.
Right.
It might feel like it because
It's
I'm
just
the
the
person,
way you
I'm
are.
the spouse, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's fascinating.
So you speak all over the country, countries, right? And you
Yes.
give private readings. How can people find you?
They can find me. The easiest way is just my website. Well, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, of course. Tweet me, Facebook me. I love that. I love to interact on
So it's
social
your first
media.
and last name, Michelle
Yes,
Arbeau.
Michelle Arbeau, and it's French Canadian, so it's spelled Arbeau. So Michelle with 2 L's.
I have a very good friend of mine who's French Canadian.
Oh, very nice.
And wait, and you're designing jewelry now,
I
too.
am. Yeah, I forgot my books. Tisk tisk, but oh, do
Oh,
you?
good.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, John.
So
Always
I've
depend on John to do that.
I know
kind of
John is
stuff.
like amazing.
Did
He's
you
like,
look at your chart and say, make career decisions with the jewelry and with the launching the network? And do you really, tune into that?
Yes, I'm in a career cycle right now. I'm in it still for another 6 years. So
That
it's
can
all
be
about
very
career right now.
upsetting,
That's
right? But yet you
fantastic.
know.
Yes.
So there's confirmation, or at least hey, it's not going to be so chaotic
Yes.
forever.
Yes. But you know what? I definitely feel like people need to know that there are ebbs and flows to the energy. It's like we, as a society, we're taught we need to charge full steam ahead. And there are some years when we need to just be still and be stalled. And I actually ran into someone on my street just this week, and she was like, I've had so many like starts and stops this year, and I feel like I'm stalled and spinning my wheels. So I said, what's your month and day of birth? And she gave it to me, and then I added it to the global year. Oh, you're in an 11 year. You're not supposed to make major changes. You're supposed to be on the spiritual mountain, so to speak, and kind of looking back to what you've done and where you've gone, and looking ahead to what you want to do next. So I never recommend any major changes under an 11. So it was kind of
But see,
confirmation for her. But
That's so beautiful, because even for people who don't believe in this, which you say it's mathematical, so it's exact, even for people who don't believe, being able to give someone that gift, and now the person is more relaxed and less stressed, that's it. So who cares if it's true or not, if it's going to help the person either relax based on
Exactly.
something that's been going on in their life, or you give them the energy to, no, you're in career right now, so go do it. And all of a sudden, maybe they get motivated and they go and do what they have to do.
exactly.
So,
Totally.
yeah, that's fantastic.
That's what I'm here for.
Yay, that's so cool. So tell us about your jewelry.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
so
yeah, this
pretty.
is just kind of a simplistic part of it. But 1111, of course, I've got a 1111 tattoo here. But this says
Master
1111 synchronicity, which anyone who sees 1111, they're kind of in. I call it the 1111 club, because a lot of people, if you Google 1111, it's like a phenomenon.
It's like the
people see
23rd.
it everywhere.
So what is it supposed to be?
reason
What
it's
does it
23.
signify?
Well, no one really knows for sure.
Mhm.
I mean, there's a lot of theories, and I've added it up, and I see it everywhere. I mean, I've been awakened in the night, just like bolt upright for no reason, looking at the clock, like, what time is it? 11:11, or like
Yeah, we're gonna talk about
111,
that.
right?
That is so weird.
Yeah,
next
it's
show.
really creepy, and to me, because I'm so practical, it's like, what the heck does this mean? I have a friend in San Diego who wrote a book, 1111, The Time Prompt Phenomenon, and she kind of laid out all the theories as to why people see it, but no one really knows for sure. But it seems to be hitting everyone, like Lady Gaga and Ellen even see 1111.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
How
Jim Carrey
interesting.
has
Isn't that crazy?
changed his production company to JC 23 because he saw 23 a lot. He's obsessed with 23. And he was in a movie.
Yeah, called 23.
Yeah.
I find it so fascinating. So many people globally see number sequences, but no one has done anything as to, to explain as to
Pretty
why
interesting.
it's happening.
So the jewelry line,
Yeah.
where can we find this?
Okay, so I'm having a launch event in Beverly Hills next week on the 22nd, so I'm stressing because I'm trying to get everything together. But
On the 22nd, but that's
Yes.
a good number, isn't it?
it is. It totally is. Yeah, and it just happened to work out that way. But so I've got, the more simplistic line. So it's all customizable. I've got like
And it
the-
all has what? So for our listeners, what are we looking at right now?
Okay, so this is just a sterling silver bangle bracelet, I guess, with a little bead, and it can be customizable. I have another one that has a little gemstone with your life path number and what it means, and this is one of the pieces. But then there's the charm bracelet, which has all the different charms based on like your heart's desire, your name number, all the different things that would be around
How
it.
cool. So
Those
very
are great.
personalized. to
Very
you.
much
That's
so.
great.
And so if they order it
It's
like
kind of a story thing, at the dinner
Well, it's
table.
your life
What does
story.
that mean?
Right.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
And a
So it's-
reminder of where you're going and what you're
Yeah,
doing.
so
Yeah.
it's customized and you do it based on their numbers and
Yes,
stuff. That's
exactly.
wonderful.
So people
Wow.
can find your jewelry later on after the launch event.
Yeah,
at
it's
your website, right?
soulnumbersjewelry.com. That's the official. Yes,
soulnumbersjewelry.com.
yes.
Okay.
Soulnumbersjewelry.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being with us tonight, Michelle.
Thank you.
It's
It was
been
fun.
fascinating. I love it. So, do you have a takeout, Steve?
Well, I think
Because-
one of the things that really struck me was the woman who stopped you in the street and you said, "Hey, wait a second, you're not supposed to be doing anything right now. Go home and take
Yeah.
a nap." You didn't say that, but that's what I interpreted.
Yes.
That's what I hear when I say you're not supposed to be doing anything right now. And for everything there's a season, right? And that allows you to just be,
Yeah.
right? Because a lot of
Yeah.
times, like you said, we're just so hard charging that we don't allow ourselves to simmer and just be.
That's right.
And I think
Integrating.
that's a great reminder.
Integration.
It's a great reminder.
Is key.
Exactly.
To
So
everything.
we go through a
Yeah.
high change period. We need an integration period, and it always happens in our numbers. And
Wow.
it's going to eventually happen. So we've got to take a pause. It's harder for people though who are go-getters. So
Yeah.
just the confirmation, like you say.
But even that in and of itself, to teach someone to slow down a little bit can be so healing
Yeah.
and so important for
Yeah.
people who are go-getters and are always on the go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys look up Michelle, get in touch with her, and find out what's going on with you.
That's right. Michelle Arbeau, you can follow her on Twitter. You can find her online. She's got the jewelry line. She's doing a million things, but she does have time for you. So
I do.
So you
Absolutely.
can invite her to come speak at your event. You can get a private reading.
Yeah.
Well worth it. Well worth it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Take it away, Barry, and we'll see everybody next week.
You've been listening to the Dr. Shirley and Steve Show. Get more Dr. Shirley and Steve on their podcast, on iTunes and Stitcher. Like them on Facebook and follow on Twitter. Then tune in every Wednesday at 8 p.m. only on ubnradio.com.
Her name was